Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast. I'm back, baby. Took a little break, but I'm back. Brand new episode today, featuring my friends, All the Days. They've got a brand new record on the way, due out July 27th. Big old album release party happening that same night at Off Broadway, and we get into it right here on today's episode. Get a little sneak peek of the album. We play a couple of live acoustic ones for you also, and hope you dig it. Do want to remind you, as always, Rock Paper Podcast is brought to you by Friendship Brewing Company in Wentzville, Missouri. Serving up all your craft beer needs. Over 25 rotating taps over there. All kinds of tasty beverages. You got your delicious food as well. Dinner, lunch. Come by, grab a burger, nachos, flatbread, pizzas, pretzels. All kinds of tasty eats. And you can get some great live music every weekend. They kick off your weekend on Thursdays with their Singo Bingo night. So swing in there and check that out. And then on Friday, you can catch Michael Scott there on July 19th. On Saturday night, July 20th, you can catch X-Bombers out there. And then don't forget, they recently launched last year the Flint Hill location, Fly High, an old new dining experience coming out of the Fly High kitchen over there, including new pizzas. So come check it out. Their deep dish pan pizzas slinging out of the Fly High kitchen. Get some the same great beer out there, and live music Friday, July 19th from Josh Littig, and Saturday, July 20th from Jeff Waltshauser. And if you are in the Hannibal, Missouri area, great news, Friendship Brewing is out there now. So if you come by, check out the brand new Hannibal location, and you can get some food from Sidekick Barbecue while you're there. You can find everything Friendship Brewing Company at friendshipbrewingcompany.com. You can find links to their merch. You got some cool shirts and keychains, and you can get you can grab beer to take home. You got your to-go cases and everything else. So whatever you're looking for, you can find it. friendshipbrewingcompany.com. Be sure to plug in with them on Facebook and Instagram for more info. And if you need anything from me, you can find me always at rockpaperpodcast.com. Hit me up on the socials. Email me, rockpaperpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. Put that out of the way. Sit back, relax, enjoy this brand new episode with All the Days.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio. It's on the internet. Does that make sense? Uh-huh. Yeah. That's also like my mom. It makes it sound more confusing, doesn't it? It sounds like this.
I'm Stephanie.
I am Danny.
And we are from All the Days. We're happy to be here on Rock Paper Podcast with Shane.
Rock Paper Podcast.
This is beat paper, paper covers rock. Rock beats is the Shane covers non-stop. Never know what new kind of guest that he's got coming at you. Live and direct on the spot. Could be rock, folk, country, or hip-hop, jazz. All kind of folks that he has. Could be an artist or a comedian to make you laugh on the
Rock Paper Podcast.
Double-decker fudge round, rolling round town. Shane coming at you live and direct from ground zero. He's your hero, he's your bestie. Rock Paper Podcast with Shane Presley.
Rock Paper Podcast.
Hey everybody, Shane Presley here, Rock Paper Podcast, coming to you from St. Louis, Missouri. Hanging out today with All the Days. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Thank you.
I guess we should probably properly introduce you for those listening. If you want to introduce yourselves for everyone so they know your voices.
Well, I'm Danny, Danny Cathriner, and
I'm Stephanie Stewart.
Yeah, this is cool. I'm glad to be back here. Stephanie did a solo episode in like 2019 or something, I think it was.
Yeah.
I think I looked it up. And so it's fun that we're getting to circle back and talking about another brand new project, or newer for the show wise, new project. And, but yeah, I like always catching up with friends. And so I'm excited to be here today. And we've got a brand new record from All the Days on the way. So we got plenty to talk about. And then, always fun meeting new people making music in our town. So this is my first time getting to meet Danny. So
Good to meet you.
good to meet you. Yeah, this is, so it's fun. I like that the show continues to introduce me to new music coming out of our city. And that's the case today for sure. But I guess, like I said, I know a little bit of Stephanie's background and kind of going into this project. How do you two, I think I read that it started with you two as songwriters, right? Kind of like this was the initial beginning of the band, you two?
Well, I can go back to the origin
Yeah.
of when I met Stephanie.
Right.
So I play out in a Western country swing outfit called Colonel Ford. I play drums, and the guitar player for the band is Gary Hunt.
Yeah.
And Gary's neighbor so happens to be Stephanie's mom and dad. So pre-COVID, like way back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Stephanie and Stephanie's sister, Rachel, would come out to with their mom and dad, and they'd always come up and sing a couple songs with us. And I just thought that their voices together were just gorgeous, and they had that that sisters often do, that blood harmony. And I personally, in fact, I even talked to you about this. I wanted to record you guys way back then,
Yeah.
and I wanted to get you guys in the studio. Well, then a lot of things have happened, and then COVID happened, and but what I did end up getting to do, thankfully, is inviting Stephanie to play with another band I was playing with called Cave States with Chris Graybaugh. And she was gracious enough to join us on recordings, and she became a very integral part of the band. And so that really started our true collaboration as songwriters.
Yeah. And friendship,
Yes.
Yeah.
And from there, Stephanie would show us her songs, and I just love her songwriting, lyrically, melodically, and it's so similar to my ilk of songwriting too. I can relate so much to what she does and how she does it. We started recording a little bit on our own, so we have using the tools that we have on our computers, and she would write a song, I would add to it, then I'd write a song and she would add to it. And under the secret account that we have on SoundCloud, I think we have near 90 plus songs.
a lot of songs. Yeah.
So, and it's just this just never ends. So it's wonderful. It's a great outlet to have a partner, like Stephanie, that we can share our songs with. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. And then, so when did we officially decide to call it a band? And when?
Well, yeah. So I guess it was in 2022, I guess. We were playing with Cave States, and, obviously the pandemic kind of made everything stop for a while. But we had just finished recording a project with Cave States and sort of waiting for all of the back end, mastering and mixing to be finished. And it was 2022 in February, and I got diagnosed with breast cancer, actually. And I wanted to tell the guys in Cave States what was going on. But that's a weird thing to like text somebody,
Right.
So I ended up texting Danny and just asking if he could talk. And he was actually over at Todd's house, Todd Schnitzer, who is also part of Cave States, and he did all the recording work for the project. Anyway, they were all over there, and he said, I'll call you when I'm driving home. And I'll never forget it because he called me, and I don't think we'd ever talked on the phone. And I just told him, what was going on. And the first thing out of his mouth was, we need to play music. You need something to do. Let's play music. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yes, let's do that. And so it was like it was like medicine, I just dove into writing and sharing songs with him. And, like he said, we would add to each other's songs. And we did that for probably like 6 months before we invited Tony. And I met Tony Estrada being part of the Rough Shop Christmas, the holiday extravaganza. And that, so I met him through that, and we thought we needed a bass player, or we weren't sure what we needed. So we just invited him to come hang out, and and he did, and he was like, yes, I'll be part of the band. And so we played as a threesome just in Danny's basement. And then we were like, I think we need to round this out with one more person.
Well,
and
it was a, Tony was, like you were saying, he was playing bass.
He was playing bass.
And, but we discovered that he is this phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah.
And like it almost, well, it just seemed, very fitting that if he would play guitar. And then I asked Chuck Lindo,
who's an amazing bass player and also guitarist.
Yes.
But he joined us on bass.
Also plays in many bands.
Many bands.
It's such a small town. It's so incestuous, isn't it? It's just everyone knows everybody. But so he joined, and I remember him. I asked him if he'd be interested in joining us, and we're talking about Chuck here, and Chuck and I had talked before about collaborating, doing stuff together, and I remember his text back to me was, "It's a hard yes." So it was very, and it's really worked out. It's a with Chuck being in the band, we have these. We can do 3-part harmonies.
Yeah,
and we like that to be a focus. With a lot of our songs, the harmonies and the melodies, and it's just worked out great. So
yeah. So I think we became officially a band. I don't know. Well, we played our very first show March of 2023.
Yeah. At a grocery store.
At a grocery store. Yeah, my friend's grocery store.
Go ahead and plug it.
Westwood. Nice. Westwood Grocery.
Or Haneke's.
Haneke's Market. Or Tomboy. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. It's in Glendale.
Yeah. But they cleared it out. They cleared, they awesome. Moved shelves over, and then they put, I don't know, maybe 25, 30 chairs.
Yeah.
And then
it was like fun. Our soft opening, for all the days. And I mean, we just... Yeah, and that's how it's been.
Yeah, very cool. What you mentioned your diagnosis, and are you you're good now, or
Yeah.
everything's all better?
I'm good. Yep. I feel good. And I had to have, a couple surgeries and, but thankfully it's gone and it didn't spread and, but yeah, so it's a whole new world for me for sure.
Yeah, that kind of all that. I mean, I've talked a lot about it, but it's good for me. It helps. It's same kind of thing. Music's medicine. For you, like you were saying, like it's good for me to keep talking about it and keep her memory alive. But when you were saying all that, my mind goes right to my mom and her diagnosis and going through that with her. But one thing, the memory came to mind was when we were after they did surgery and stuff and things. They great friend of mine, Al Holliday, came up to them, and Mom's a big fan of his as well, and he came up to the hospital and brought a guitar and sat there and played some songs for her, and it was such a cool moment in very much uncertainty. What we didn't really know what was happening and everything else, but it was just like really nice moment with all of us just sitting in her room and kind of tapping her foot and singing along and stuff. And like, so I think he played like CCR and Jim Croce and some of her favorites and stuff. So it was really a nice thing. But I do feel like music is such a medicine like that. Like I said, like, it is very much healing in a lot of ways for either the people playing it, writing this, being cathartic, to get these thoughts out and process it that way. But also for listeners, as we, I love when I hear a great song and I feel like it's telling my story, or, I connect to it in that way, that it's like, I know exactly what this feeling's like and stuff. Those kind of moments like that are always, nice for me as a listener. And so anyway, it's just, music's pretty cool.
Yeah. Totally. So, yeah.
Cancer is not.
No. Cancer, not so much. But yeah.
I'm glad you were all better now.
Yeah. So. Me too. And I feel like there are many, at least for me, there were many gifts that came from that hard experience. And this project is certainly one of the gifts, and I would hope that eventually we would have found our way here. But Danny and I had been talking for years about, we should do a project together. And, people, we say stuff like that. But that diagnosis was a catalyst for, let's do this and let's do this now.
I do feel like, like exactly that. We all get caught up saying, one of these days. And, but sometimes you need that, happen to be the scenario, but, sometimes it's just like, you don't realize that, maybe our time is as short as it is until you have that kind of thing like that. So
it definitely gave me a kick in the pants.
Right. Yeah. But I try to, it's been something that resonated with me for years, since high school. And I've to say it quite a bit, but it still rings true. I had this, he was a football coach, and track coach and stuff. By the time I got to really know him, he was our health teacher, and but he was a huge figure in the community in Wentzville, and named Scott Swafford, and he used to say this, live this 5 like your last 5, like whether 5 minutes, 5 hours, whatever, and so him and his wife continually say 5 and 5, and just being present, living in the moment, not saying tomorrow, and this thing. And he ended up telling us, like, he said a big speech kind of thing like this it was like right at the beginning of school. It was like a Friday, and he's like saying, hey, if somebody offers you Cardinals tickets or what, like, go to the game, have fun, don't worry about the homework. Like, you can turn it in later. And
What a great teacher.
that kind of thing, and then he's like,
Do you do that, Danny?
yeah.
Danny's a teacher.
Right. And so he's saying all this, and then that over the weekend he ends up having a heart attack and passed. And
Oh, jeez.
and just I felt like that just really solidified his message that you just never know when your time is up. And so it's unfortunate that we lost him, but that I still today I'm telling the story and stuff. So it's like it's made an impact on my life, and that's how I try to do as much as I do. Like try to go to all the concerts I can because
That's right.
you never know. But
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, I'm glad that that was the spark you needed to start collaborate and make this happen. And we got this record that you all worked on together, and we got a big party to celebrate this record, and we're going to get into that and some of the songs. But let's start with this party. This is coming up real quick on July 27th over at Off Broadway in St. Louis, Missouri. One of my absolute favorite rooms in the city for sure. So it's going to be a special night. Like I said, album release, you'll have it on digital the day before, right? The 26th.
Yes.
And then the night of,
We'll have the
vinyl copies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great room. It's also a great big room.
Yeah.
So thank you for helping us
Yeah.
promote. Yeah.
And bringing along some support from Andrew Dahle, very talented young singer-songwriter in town. And so very cool to have him a part of this show.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing, is it just the four of you recreating the record, or we got some other things in mind, some other special guests or anything?
Well, we have some special
Yeah.
guests. We haven't asked these people yet. but
Well, I
hopefully
did, but we're still working that
Sure.
out. We hope to have Michelle Ray join us. She played saxophone on the record on the song Airplane, and it would be wonderful if she could join us to play on that song, and perhaps also sing some harmony on a few
Yeah.
other songs, and sax here and there.
Sure.
flute.
Yeah.
She also plays flute.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Yeah. That's what I think is kind of fun about, especially an album release party. Sometimes it is hard to every gig to get some of these auxiliary players sometimes,
Yeah.
but like to celebrate properly, it's always nice to have it like recreated live for that. So, but yeah, that'd be cool. Hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we wanted to kind of give you a little sneak peek of what you might hear on this at the party, and also on this upcoming record. And we got a couple of tunes we wanted to share, and I chose a song called "Days Ahead," and this is a Stephanie song, right?
Yeah, I wrote this song. I call this, one of many songs that I wrote during COVID. But it was really inspired by just being bored, just being really bored and sort of stuck inside, and, just like how I'm spending my days and what I'm looking forward to. And it was also inspired by John Prine, who is an amazing songwriter and definitely one of my songwriting heroes. And shortly before I wrote this song, he passed. And so I guess in a lot of ways, this was kind of an homage to him. I tend to write what I know, and I like to tell stories in my writing, and I really like that about his writing. And anyway, so yeah, that's what that song is about.
This is I like this one a lot. I told you I thought it was nice, got a little more up tempo, and so I don't know if like how do you go about deciding like how the lyrics fit, or how you'd end up choosing that maybe this goes to this particular BPM or anything. How like you that thought process happens, or if you just let it naturally kind of lend itself to that. But it works well. Like it's fun to hear it this way, and like you're saying, kind of Danny playing the drums on this one, right? And kind of doing like a train beat.
Yeah, train beat.
Yeah. Was that like was there any real like significance to that to thinking about?
Well, I a lot of it had to do with the tempo of the song, and I that's what I heard. So that's that's what I started playing, and I guess it just stuck. They don't always, like some songs we like don't always end up how we intended them.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's always a different process, but this one, I think, ended up being very close to the original recording, I believe. Don't we have this one on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that like we have this, everything that you're hearing on the record, we have previous recordings that we did kind of in the basement.
Sure.
Right. And, it's cool because that song in particular was one of my favorites that we did as a demo. And I still love the demo. It's just so there's like a freedom in the way that we recorded it that is so fun. And so I think that's really what informed the recording that you're hearing on this record. And someday I'd love to release these demos.
Sure. Yeah.
Because they're really cool. I mean,
we'll give you access to it.
All right.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, like obviously, we did do a couple of live acoustic takes, and this is some of my favorite stuff. I like kind of just the raw live, demo versions, B-sides, rarities.
Yeah.
I like all that. I nerd out on all that stuff. Like, the albums are great. Obviously, I love that too. But it's fun to hear. Actually, just the other day, excuse me, I went to see Hootie and the Blowfish and Collective Soul and Edwin McCain at the amphitheater, and so I kind of went on this Collective Soul kick, and my buddy tells me about a record called Ed E. Roland, and it was like his Ed put out this record in I think 91 prior to starting Collective Soul stuff. So it's just it's like, and there, so it's very raw kind of ideas in there, and like there it's like you can definitely hear some 90s pop, that of that time. Like there's a female singer on some of the songs, and it's like kind of gives me like Ace of Base or Roxette, or some of the kind of that rock pop of that time. But what's fun is listening to those and hearing some of the early ideas of what became Collective Soul. Like you can hear in those songs, like, oh, this is exactly what the idea of this is where it started, and then he figured it out for the record and stuff. So, so that kind of stuff, like it just got, it's fun for me to, especially for that record, like revisiting 30 something years later, and then kind of putting the pieces together. But, I just like that stuff. I'm fortunate enough to, friends send me demos and stuff every now and then, like of, something they're working on before it gets to the studio. And, I sometimes just like yourself, fall in love with this particular recording. There's something special about that, what it is alone. And, and not that the album's not great too, but it's just something happened that at that particular moment we hit record and we were able to capture it. So I think that's kind of the whole, you know, you get all the bands that are try to capture the live feeling in the studio. You know, some people figure it out, some people don't, and like they struggle trying to figure it out for years, how to properly catch that magic on the microphones in a studio and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
without getting, what they call that? The red light anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, when you hear the stuff. So
we had a good experience recording.
You were at Native, is that right?
We were at Native Sound with David Beeman, and we recorded most of the stuff live. You know,
the basics were like, of course, there are certain overdubs, vocals, of course. But
my vocals were mostly live. My vocals, I think, were all live except for the harmony, but obviously for you to sing your lead vocal, you couldn't be playing drums.
Yeah, so that's one
singing.
part of the record I'm really proud of, is that it was mostly live.
Yeah, I mean, we really did minimal.
Such a departure from what how I had recorded, you know, in the past.
Yeah.
So,
and that was intentional for the reasons that you're describing. You know, it was important to both of us to have this. When the four of us play together, there's a really good energy, and I wanted to capture that in the studio as best that we could, you know. And it's tricky, you know, because one wrong note and you got to start over. But we were well rehearsed and we were prepared, and David was great to work with. I mean, just he's got a great ear, and I feel like he really helped us kind of solidify our vision.
Yeah, there's that we've talked about that before, that kinetic energy that you have when you're all playing live.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes a record or songs can become stale because that's not there.
Yeah.
I think like we've talked about this too, Big Thief. They've got this something about them, you know, that it's
very
not
organic.
just the songs. It's this organics something. It's hard to articulate, but it is that kinetic energy that they have.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how the approach we took.
Yeah.
And I think it paid off.
Nice. Let's drop in another one from the record. This is a Danny song. This is a song called Baritone, and will appear on Gardener of My Heart, and again due out digitally July 26th, and on vinyl and July 27th. But what would you like to tell us about Baritone, Danny?
It came out of, it was, the lyrics describe how, what's the very first line? When I wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning. The song was literally written as, it's very autobiographical. So I was writing the song with this very morose sort of, feeling. But I love, like so many people, I love the morning. I love when no one else is around. I love the feeling in the house when you can just, I know there's such a sense of freedom to being, the only one awake, So part of it was that. And then that was the first verse. The second verse is more sadness. It's if you notice, you take the lyrics of each line of the second verse is it's a song.
Yeah.
Songs that I knew when I was growing up, and all revolving around the idea of sunshine or sun. And I don't know. It's kind of it's a sad song, isn't it? It's lyrically, it's a very God. all my songs are sad.
I know. Well, I think there's good stuff in those in that melancholy.
It's what it is. Melancholy.
Yeah, it's not even sad so much as it's just. I think it's just very thoughtful, and I think it touches what a lot of people are feeling, which is kind of melancholy. Mm-hmm. And that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. I think maybe we should be okay with it.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sunshine and Songs of Sunshine. And got just also saw James Taylor the other night.
Yeah.
And which was incredible. Like obviously, as a huge catalog of great songs and stuff, and but I was really surprised. Like he delivered. I mean, he's a showman, and even at his age, like still jumping around on stage, like he's putting.
That's what Tony said. Didn't Tony Estrada, our guitar player, he went to that show?
Yeah,
and he said the same thing.
So he was
really great.
There was some he sat and just played guitar with, but there was a couple like Steamroller and stuff. He's really getting into it and animated and getting the band fired up and stuff. So it was fun to see. I think he's 78 and like he's still.
Wow. Yeah.
You could see how much fun he was having. Mm-hmm. It was infectious. It was like you just want to be a part of the fun that he was having.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had a lot of great jokes along the way, and he said something about Bill Withers and Ain't No Sunshine, and then like he goes, Bill, that's not proper grammar. Ain't no sunshine. He goes, I know.
That's good.
So I was like, I thought it was like, I was laughing most of the night. Like anytime he was telling stories and like or jokes, like, I mean, like he had a lot of really good lines in there and stuff. So
Yeah.
it was just an evening with him. So it was just 2 sets of James Taylor and the band. And
Nice.
so it was a really magical night, but I thought that was a pretty clever joke. And so speaking of sunshine songs,
Yeah.
but we did do a couple live acoustic today, which this is a real treat for me. I enjoy being able to have singer songwriters on the show and do this kind of stuff. And you all brought in a couple of unreleased ones, and so this was cool too to even get some exclusive kind of stuff that may not on the record, but maybe you'll hear it at the show or at any of the other live events coming up and stuff. So and let's little live acoustic version of Even Try.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Cannot find the words to ease my worried mind. Caught up in regret, need a breath to unwind. Am I sorry? Am I worthy? Am I too late to even try? Am I too late to even try? The path that I've been walking has been forward and back. At times it's been circular, so much that I lost track. Am I sorry? Am I worthy? Am I too late to even try? Am I too late to even try? Trouble comes and trouble goes. I'll keep on traveling though. Time is a fickle friend that passes by when you need it most. Living in the moment is the hardest thing. My mind is a yo-yo on a tangled string. Am I sorry? Am I worthy? Am I too late to even try? Am I too late to even try? Am I too late to even try?
And I think is this one? I think there's a recording on socials of this one, isn't there?
There's a
like
video.
a video.
Yeah.
And,
So this was kind of the song that started this whole
collaboration,
thing. Yeah. It was the first song that we worked on together. I wrote it pretty much right after my diagnosis and brought it to Danny. And and he promptly created a video for it. And so, yeah, it's not technically released. Like you can't, it's not on any streaming platforms. But there is a video out there on YouTube where you can hear that demo version of the song, and you can see Danny's handiwork at making videos. But yeah.
yeah. Did you, I kind of mentioned, from other people saying it's cathartic for them to write, to process. And I mean, did you find yourself, you mentioned 90 songs, I'm sure quite a bit of that, but were you writing a lot about your feelings after diagnosis and stuff? Like, was that
not necessarily just about that, but yeah, the last several years have been a very fertile time for me in terms of, creativity and writing, for sure. There's, like I said, I write what I know, and what's going on. And yeah, so yes, we both are, and Danny's a very prolific songwriter as well. And it's all 90 songs may never make it onto a record, but it's really fun to have them documented, and it's a good problem to have. We've got a lot of material that we can choose from, and still writing, still sharing new things. So
do you have any advice for young songwriters, like maybe hitting a writer's block or anything? Like, or is there anything, a tip you learned along the way to help, find something to write about, or, how do you tap into that? Or is there anything that comes to mind?
I don't know if I would. I don't think I'm qualified to offer any advice to anyone, but I start with the melody.
Mm-hmm. I do too. Just noodling around with a guitar, something will come. Inevitably something will come, and you just sort of play with it. And then the last thing that, for me, are the lyrics. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you write. You kind of write similar. I do similar. Yeah, I usually hear a melody, and for me, the trick is about catching it when it comes. And so a strategy that I use is I just grab my phone and I open the voice memo app, and I just sing whatever's in my head into that, especially if I don't have time to sit down with a guitar, but I will hear melodies all the time.
And can I add to that? Because I think that's crucial to have. Have a recording device.
Yeah.
I have been laying in bed with the melody in my head, and I will get up out of bed and find whatever I need to find to hum it.
Yeah. Or just hum it.
Because it will, you can't just say, well, I'll do it tomorrow. It will be gone.
It'll be gone.
It's gone, and maybe it'll come back through our collective unconscious somehow, but you have to capture those melodies when you hear them. So
yeah, so that's my advice. And then when you do have those moments where songs aren't coming, you can go back through those things and that you've recorded, and even if it's just a little spark, that might help. Mm-hmm. And then, to get out of your own way, like for years, I just overthought, what I wanted to say.
Sure.
And now it's just like, well, you just write, just free association, and somewhere in that is some lyrics that you can pull from. So that's how I do. Some songs come real easy, and those are obviously, it's really magical when that happens, when you sit down and it just comes out of you and you love what you create, but that's not how it happens all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, I've heard a lot of greats over the years say those, the ones that come easy like that are the ones that like stick around. Like, those are the ones that are your favorite ones, the ones that become other people's favorite ones and stuff. The ones you got to kind of work on for a while or tend to not stick around for whatever reason, it's like, so something of magic.
Yeah.
It's capturing that, whatever it is, that moment and stuff like I said. So, but yeah, that, I think, I don't know. I talk about it quite a bit again, but I'm kind of like you said, like in my way. I feel like I have ideas. I've never applied any of it. I've never sat down and actually started writing, but it's something I think about a lot. And I think about like, just be fun to write something and have somebody record a song I wrote or something like that, and like, I don't play guitar or anything, but I think it'd be fun to write something and have, friends of mine make it something,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we'll just start writing.
Right.
Just free associate.
Part of me is like, I listen to so much music. It's hard for me to like, I'm like, oh no, that's a Tom Petty song. And like, that kind of thing.
Well, that happens too.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
but I think, that's a big obstacle. I think a lot of songwriters, they'll write something and it's too similar to this or too similar to that. And everything is derivative of everything.
Sure.
That's what I would say.
Right.
I would, so everything in our modern culture, I would say pop songs, pop music, country music, whatever. It's based out of the 1, 4, and the 5.
Yeah.
And it's just finding a way, find a melody there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I'll make it happen one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you about that.
Yeah.
All right. Let's play another tune from the record. And again, this is titled, Gardener of My Heart is the record, and it'll be out very soon. But this closes out the record, and this is called Burning Up For You. This is one of my particular favorites. I really enjoyed. What would you all like to tell me about this song?
So this is a song that I wrote a long time ago, actually, that I didn't intend for it to even be an All the Days song. It's one of those songs that came real easy to me. And it was written about a person that I had not yet met. I was in this moment of life where, I was divorced and not sure that I would ever meet my person, and that maybe I just would have, a dog. And anyway, shared it with Danny, and he was like, well, we got to record this. And it was actually the one song that's on this record that we hadn't really played with Danny and Chuck. I think maybe we played it twice, or not Danny, Tony and Chuck. I think maybe we played it twice with Tony, maybe once with Chuck, or maybe I kind of want to say that when we were in the studio, Chuck, we just sort of like threw it at him and we were like, hey, we're going to record this song. And he was like, what? And I actually love the way that it turned out. I mean, Tony's guitar solo is so, I don't know, there's just so much like feeling in it.
I definitely, I was going to mention it too. I felt the same way. I thought it sounded really nice on there.
Yeah. And Chuck's bass line, I mean, really both of them all throughout the record, just, we're just playing some really, really cool stuff. But yeah, I really appreciate how it turned out. And it was not something that we really planned on. At least from my perspective. I don't know what you
I
want to
love the
say
song.
about it.
I'd like to add a little bit about both Tony and Chuck. Chuck is such a melodic bass player. You know, you can hear, I mean, just listen to the bass on the record. He has these own melodies going on, you know, that works so well with
They're just amazing.
song. Yeah. I can listen to the record and just listen to Chuck, you know, throughout it. And it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Kudos to Chuck. Art Elmer. Charles Elmer is his real name.
That's
Did I
his
say that?
dad's name. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, his dad's name is Elmer.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the story of Burning Up for you.
Yeah.
You set my soul on fire. Won't you stay? Won't you stay a little while? Just a few more moments before you go.
this is, like I said, it's one that really popped for me. And it was a fun way to end the record. Just I feel like it's I don't know. I felt like maybe one of the only love songs on the record. Like, even though you're not writing about a particular person, but I felt like it's still chasing that feeling.
Totally. Yeah.
But it was nice to have a little bit. I feel like a good record checks a couple different boxes. You got your, a love song. You got your, whatever. There's a bunch of them, but whatever your record is. But I'm just saying, it's got to have like a couple of key moments where you're like, okay, this rounds out a nice solid album.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this record definitely has, those moments where we have a lot of different sounds coming through and offering a lot of different things in this collection of songs. So, and I'm excited to hear some more of those unreleased ones, and as we continue to work on the next record and things, and see what else you all have in store for us. So
you can go to it's a SoundCloud.
Yeah.
Are you going to tell? You're going to announce this? So I was talking to my daughter on the phone earlier before you do that. And because she's a musician, and she's like, Mom, you know that your SoundCloud that you put all your demos on, you're like, with Danny, that's public, right? She's like, you should probably make that private. Right. And I was like, well I don't know that anyone's really paying attention.
If I were to make it private, you couldn't hear it.
That's the problem. So that's why it's public.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that we could, as a band, we can
it's a way for us
log
to
into it.
Right.
Listen to what we're working on.
I mean, I guess there are ways around it.
I guess they don't have a collaborative kind of thing, like where you can both have access or something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's under a different name.
Yeah.
Not all the days. But anyway.
What about the name? How did we decide that was?
Well, that was so hard.
Yeah.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
the hardest thing. It's painful coming up with the band name, and we didn't have one for the longest time.
We couldn't decide.
What were some of the ones that didn't make the cut?
Oh God. So many. Yeah. I mean, and I don't even know. So what we really wanted was we kept coming back to, like different flora and fauna, like just, I don't know, just like some sort of
orchids, things,
native things, and I don't know. And All the Days is something that that actually my husband Josh and I used to say to each other when we first started dating, as a way to almost, I feel like it was a way for us to convey that we have time, like that there's still time when you're doing something for a second time, like a marriage, there's this feeling like you've missed out on something. And I really liked that he would say that to me, because we share a love of music too. So we would say all the days, all the songs. And anyway, we had been going back and forth about what to name this band, and nothing was sticking. And Josh said, have you thought about All the Days? And I was like, well, that's a you and I thing. I go, I don't know. Let me float it to Danny. And I did, and you liked it.
I like it. It's an unusual name. It's not your typical adjective noun,
right?
Yeah. I think we, I don't know. You start thinking about a band name, and you get into this head, so you just start to critic.
Everything was criticized.
Everything
sounds
stupid.
corny or contrived or something. And this felt like it wasn't any of those things. Mm-hmm. It was just like, and it can mean whatever you want it to mean,
sure.
But I sort of like the idea that we have time,
yeah,
and like we can Yeah.
And I like that it's, to me, it feels, like a positive message.
Yeah.
I don't know. It is. Yeah, all the days.
Yeah.
I think it works. You think about too, it's all branding. It's like you think about how it looks on a album cover. You think about how it looks on a T-shirt.
I know.
And all these things. And I think like the three smaller words, I think fit nicely, in different ways. And you think about some of the, it could be more characters. It gets more complicated to.
Totally.
So
it just rolls off the tongue,
Right.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
All the days.
right. Now you don't have to clarify for a marquee or anything.
Yeah.
Well, how do you say that? How do you spell that?
It's just all the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's something about even simplicity of it. Just like so. I think it definitely works. So I just think it's funny to think about. Like it's those bands that, like I said, sometimes you get like a whole list on the whiteboard at the and like trying to potential band names and stuff. The ones that.
I'm glad we don't have to do that anymore. We were.
Yeah. Do you all have maybe like high school or whatever it might have been, like early bands that any goofy names that you were working with at the time?
You've been in a lot of bands, Danny. I'm
when
sure you've got some good ones.
My first band was Flaming Youth. It's a Kiss song from the Destroyer record. I was such a big Kiss fan. All of my friends were. The entire band was. So we called ourselves Flaming Youth. Oh my God. The first band I was ever in, it was just me and my brother. And we weren't really a band, but we liked the idea of it. We were called the Loners.
I love that. So fitting.
So fitting. Horrible band. Yeah.
I don't know. So, as you said, my mind went right to there's Airheads, the movie with Brendan Fraser and Adam Sandler, Steve Buscemi, and in there they have their band's called the Lone Rangers, and they were like, "Wait, you can't pluralize it." It's like, isn't the fact that he's lone like that
he's a ranger?
Yeah, right. So
funny.
anyways, the fact that they're arguing about it is like, they're like, I don't get it, so I thought it was funny that when you said you're the Loners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think also just some of those are funny too, because like it's like a very much a sign of the times, like kind of thing. Like it's like it's that what was current at the of whatever So like it's funny, like some of the names that people do. But it's just like even naming this show, it's like anything. It's just hard to find something that's not been taken. It's like everything's or not too similar to somebody else's and stuff. So, but yeah.
Yeah, and some people don't pay attention. Like if you hit certain, you go to Spotify, sometimes you'll see more than one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was the other thing. We really wanted to not have another band that had the same name, and that's challenging. And
it's very challenging.
Yeah. There is not,
right.
that I could find another All the Days. So,
yeah,
there you go.
Well, check it out. You'll be able to hear it soon on your Spotify and all your streaming platforms again on July 26th. You can find All the Days on your Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Bandcamp coming soon. We do have a placeholder, but the record will be available on there soon if you want to support their Bandcamp, and possibly coming soon to TikTok. So
thinking about it.
Yeah, thinking about it. And you can find tickets again to the album release party at offbroadwaystl.com. Again, July 27th, Off Broadway, St. Louis, Missouri, with special guest Andrew Dahle opening up the show. So don't miss that. And you can pick, hopefully, if everything goes right, we'll be taking home a copy on vinyl and everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
what did we get any cool color, or is that a surprise? Or
We went with traditional black vinyl. But
I do think
we'll
it's.
get some.
I like that there's options now. I mean, there's so much you can do with them. Like, I have like I'm just like a nerd over the stuff. Like, I have like a blood splatter stuff. I have blood filled one.
Oh wow!
It's actually it's a Tarantino's Django Unchained soundtrack. It came with like blood, like it's red liquid, but but it's fun. Like there's a company I follow, Romanus Records, and they do all kinds of crazy boutique type records filled with all kinds of different, like glow in the dark.
Yeah.
All just I mean, there's tons of options now, and it's just interesting. I know the price tag goes up on all that stuff.
That's the thing.
But
they like to add,
Sure.
they like to nickel and dime you. Yeah, so we went with traditional black, but we have some really beautiful artwork that was designed by a friend of mine, and great photography. The lyrics are printed on the inside on the little sleeve. So, yeah.
Well, do you have a record memory, like when you think about maybe your parents or your own collection or anything, like what's like an early memory of a favorite record as a kid that you just really jumped, especially on vinyl?
I think that you and I have something in common stuff with this. Like my parents, or I should say my mom, played so much Linda Ronstadt and Fleetwood Mac.
Oh yeah,
as a kid, and that sensibility, that Southern California sensibility is just, I can't shake it. I don't want to, but it's just, it's ingrained.
Yeah.
In me. So
I used to put on the big headphones. They were way too big for my head, and I remember just laying on my stomach in front of the record player and just poring over, Linda Ronstadt, Fleetwood Mac, Carla Bonoff, Carole King, James Taylor,
Kiss.
I never did any but yes, all of that, and someday I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, ever since I was a little girl. So this feels like a big deal for me because Danny's recorded a lot of records, and this is my first, full length, certainly my first vinyl. And so it feels like a milestone.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you. I can't wait to see, hopefully we'll get like a nice unboxing video.
On TikTok.
When they arrive, yeah. But yeah, that's exciting. I mean, I feel like the same way. I mean, like, I feel like every kid that grew up, playing records, like someday I want to be on that, one of those records. I want to see my name on that. Yeah. So I think that's going to be a really cool day for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's close this out with one more we did live, and this is a exclusive for sure right here. This is, you said this only been played at band practice right now?
Heart is Bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only ever been played. Actually,
this is the first time we ever performed it.
Yeah.
In front of a person.
Yeah. We haven't even played this for Tony and Chuck, I don't think.
Well, they're going to get a surprise for sure.
You carry the load up and down the waves I sputtered. I'm barely float from the baggage and the clutter, while my heart is bone, while it's fractured and shuttered, while my eyes see stone, while my mind's in the gutter. It can rain all day long. I might go undercover. So let the hail come down. I fly above there and hover, while these wings still fly, while my mind can recover, while these rules don't apply. I'm your foe and not your lover. I know not to touch, and I know not to mention. And though I say too much, without words to draw attention, while the past is past, while we dig up or smother, while the dusk is dawn, while we wait for another.
Well, yeah. So this is Hard as Bone. What would you like to share around this song? Anything come to mind?
I'm starting to reflect on, like, I write a lot of sad songs, don't
Yeah, you do.
I do.
It's okay.
But I think it's uplifting. I think it's about ending and an end. And I think, as we know, there's always something that comes out of it. And so maybe it is sad, but it's hopeful.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a sucker for sad songs, and I just watched that Inside Out 2.
Oh, I want to see that. I
Well,
haven't seen it yet.
we watched the first one we watched it years ago, several times now, but we watched it leading into going to see the new one over the weekend. And I think they do a really good job of, especially in the first one, they're trying to keep sadness away, like kind of, and then they kind of realize, like, oh, we need that, because every time then it leads into the happiness. We have to process these emotions and things. And so I think they do a really good job explaining that to kids, like that, we don't always have to put on the smile and be happy all the time. And we don't have to be afraid of being sad. Like, it's good to put it out there, even put in lyrics, even and I feel like even if they are interpreted as a sad song or whatever, it definitely still makes me feel better. I can help me process things too. And I also, you mentioned, the loners and stuff. I feel like sometimes you feel alone out there. You feel like you're alone in these thoughts.
Yeah.
And when somebody writes a song and you connect to these lyrics and you're like, oh, no, I'm not alone. Somebody else is going through this exact same situation. And That's it makes you feel a part of something that you connect in that way. And so I don't know. There's definitely nothing wrong with sadder songs and stuff. I think it's all needed for sure. So
I think many people conflate the depression and sadness with failure, and and I think it should be, sadness is just, it's a stage.
Sure.
And we should own it. We should embrace it.
Yeah.
And it's certainly not failure.
Right.
Right. So,
yeah. But yeah, come on out. Join us again at the party. We'll have more shows coming soon. Again, you can get plugged in on the socials for more upcoming dates. And
TikTok.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Take the world by storm.
Now you're committing.
Yeah. It's on the record now.
I'm afraid of it.
Yeah. But I appreciate you all doing this. It's been really a fun night, and had a great time getting to sitting with you all. So, and I will see you July 27th at Off Broadway.
Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.